Hi there, we're coming to you from Rehoboth Beach, from the home of Bob Yesbeck, the Rehoboth Foodie, and also the host of Sip and Bite on 105.9. He's invited us into his home to make buttermilk fried chicken. So stay tuned, we'll be right back with you.
State Dance Academy. Sign up now.
When Abbott's Grill throws a party, you know it has to be good. From small business lunches and cocktail parties to full-service wedding receptions and off-site catering, Abbott's Grill makes planning simple and stress-free.
We take care of every detail so you can enjoy your event.
Abbott's Grill has catering options for every budget. Call 302-491-6736 or contact Laura Burton at abbottsgrilldE.com. Be a guest at your own party with Abbott's Grill Private Dining and Catering.
Hey, Eric here. Don't miss a thing at Mississippi River Brewing, the world's premier craft brewery located in Milford, Delaware. Stop on by for a sample, or a six-pack, or a growler, or if you just want to stop by and have a pint. Check us out at MississippiRiverBrewing.com.
Hi, welcome back. We're here with Bob Yesbeck, who's at the Rehoboth Foodie and also the host of Sip and Bite. And this is a little bit of a twist. Normally you're doing the interviewing.
Normally I'm doing the interviewing, but the nice thing about when I do it is you don't have to deal with a camera.
That's right.
I just put a microphone in front of your face and we press go.
Well, you've been a tremendous asset for a long time, and I'm glad to kind of do the opposite here today, because I think a lot of people need to know a little bit more about your story and your influence on the culinary scene, especially in the Rehoboth and surrounding area. So if you don't, we'll get right to it if you don't mind.
I know, absolutely.
I know you are a music mogul, and I know you've owned restaurants, and so really you've got a well-rounded background. Can you kind of give us a little history of what brought you to this point?
Well, back in Washington, D.C., I had a audio-video production house, a recording studio, and started that back in the 60s, actually. Sold it in the 90s, and believe it or not, it's still going strong. Wow. The guy I sold it to really knows what he's doing.
Awesome.
And when I sold it, I kind of went into midlife crisis because I had sold the business, and most people just buy a red Corvette.
Right.
I had to do restaurants.
Okay.
You know how many red Corvettes I could have bought?
A lot of red Corvettes.
They'd be lined up. But anyway, I got into it, and I had a wonderful time. I got involved with a supper club with Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac. And when we got down here, I realized there were so many restaurants in Rehoboth, and I love to eat and I love restaurants. Mm-hmm. And I thought, but I don't know which ones are good and which ones aren't. I don't want to waste my money going to some place, you know, with some guy that does this part-time. And so I started writing this little blog. A friend of mine says, well, you know what, you eat too much, you're opinionated, you've been known to write things, why don't you annoy other people and create this website? And so I put together RehobothFoodie.com almost as just a joke for my friends.
Right.
That was 10 years ago. Yeah. Last season in the summer, I got, in the middle of the month, for a month, I got 250,000 hits to the site. Yeah, about 60% of them from out of town.
Really? I remember you used to do it kind of anonymously, like Tim the Tool Guy, the guy who owned the fence.
I did with the fence. Well, you know what? That was really good until the Cape Gazette started running my picture at the top of the masthead. Right. And then when I got onto the radio show, I kind of got outed there. And I've already written about most of the restaurants around here, so it's not like they don't know me.
Right.
But I had to put together a little group of people actually who would go before me to do that. I kind of learned this from Phyllis Richmond in Washington, D.C.
Right.
everybody knows what she looks like. So right now I have it's 8 or 10 people, and if I could talk them into going to a place, you know.
Especially if you pay.
I will pay. I will pick up the check. I'm happy to do that.
Right.
And then there are people that I trust not to go overboard with, you know, well, you know, the grape was facing the wrong direction.
Right.
Enough already.
Right,
you know,
right,
was
right.
the food hot? Was there something moving in it?
Or ordering a bottle of Chef de Petrus.
That's right. That's right. It's, well, you said you'd pick the check up.
That was $1,100, please.
$1,100, please. Yeah, that's the last time they would ever write for
Yes.
me. But then after I get their initial impressions about what it's going to be like, then I will go in, and often I'll know the people, and often I won't. They'll take one look at me and look away, and I'm going, thank you.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Because I want to see what it's like for the average person. Everyone's going to be nice to me, because they're all nice people around here. 99% of the restaurateurs are very, very nice and gentle people.
Right.
And that's okay, but when I'm telling people what it's really like, I want to know what it's really like.
Sure.
So that's what it is.
And somebody, you ever find that somebody you really like and you have to say something a little harsh?
It's hard. It really is hard. And when I get to the point where I make friends with people, I'll say to them, sometimes I'll say, you know, I've made the mistake of becoming friends with you.
Right.
But here's what I have to say, and if you want to address it, I'll address it. I give them the option of
Sure,
addressing it on the site.
opportunity.
I've complained about something in a restaurant, and then the owner will come on and post a comment, well, we've resolved that. Well, that looks
Fantastic,
good. That
yeah.
looks good for me, and it looks good for them.
No doubt.
You know?
So you've seen a lot of change in the restaurant scene in the last
goodness,
10 years.
yes.
And what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't know when we're going to reach critical mass. I think we finally have. I've been monitoring the number of for lease signs that appear in windows versus the number of coming soon signs.
Right.
And it's funny how they tend to kind of run evenly. You know, and at this point we've seen a lot of people close and then new people coming in.
Right.
But usually, as you very well know, and you know this better than I do, it is the off-season that shakes them out.
Sure.
Do they have enough money? Do they have enough expertise? Do they have working capital to make it through when Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays they might be empty or they might have to close?
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean the rent stops.
Right.
Just because they
Have you
close.
also noticed maybe a shift in the restaurants themselves? Like, I don't know, the millennials are now starting to control things, you know. Have you noticed anything on that genre?
Most of the restaurants that I've seen that start out with unskilled people or young people have already gone out of business.
Okay.
There are a few that have blown me away at how well they've done.
Yeah.
And I think it's just sheer work ethic on their part. There's a little restaurant down in downtown Rehoboth, and deep down in my little heart, I just knew they were going to fail. Young people, all in their early 20s, they are going crazy.
That's great.
People go in there, they love their food, and they're just as nice as they can be.
Right. I obviously have opened a number of places.
Oh, yeah.
And I really hate hearing when somebody goes under because I know how close the margins are. I know how tough, and so do you. I mean, you've been in the business. So,
Oh, yeah.
So I'm always pulling for them, but I'm pulling for people who are doing the right thing.
Exactly. Nothing
know?
annoys me. Actually, one of my columns in the Cape Gazette a few weeks ago was about unskilled restaurateurs or underfunded restaurateurs who go
Right.
into the business, and then they go out of business and they say, well, it was the economy.
Right.
I couldn't make it because of the economy. Well, what about the restaurant next door to you that's packed every night? Are they in the same economy you are? Maybe they know what they're doing,
Right.
and you should be doing some other sort of work.
Right.
You know, and so I see it as just a waste of money, and it's kind of sad because
Yeah.
I know you put your heart into a restaurant. It's a labor of love.
Sure.
You know, and when it goes bad, it's like you have to stand back and go, well, could I have possibly done something wrong?
Right.
You know?
Well, a lot of times also people maybe expanding too fast before you have your systems in place. You know, you have one place, and then what you realize it's the one person that's holding it that one place together, and then you start spreading out 2, 3, 4, and then the kinks in the armor,
Exactly.
reveal
Show up.
themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, because that person can't be 6 places
Right.
at once.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So besides that, I guess about 3 years ago, you're getting ready to celebrate your 3rd year anniversary with Sip and Bite.
Yeah.
And I think I was one of your first
You were
interviewed
very much one of
individuals.
our first. Actually, you
Yeah.
and Mike Clampett from
Yeah.
Milton were my very first guys on
Yeah,
the
so
show.
tell us about that.
Well, it was funny. I was on another radio show in the morning, a morning show on Ocean 98. for a while, on and off during the week with Bulldog. And what I didn't know is that some of the nice people from Delmarva Broadcasting were actually listening. I said, you really were? You were listening to that? And of course everybody laughs. But when I stopped doing that, the haul to Ocean City was just too much. They approached me, and Susan Mundy, who is now statewide actually on her afternoon show, was doing this show called Sip and Bite. She really didn't particularly like it. She wasn't into it, you know, but she did a nice job, but she didn't really know what to ask the people because it's not her thing, you know, and it's kind of my thing. So she approached me, and it was funny, at the same time from two different places, they approached me and she approached me. And we talked, we negotiated, we had some fun, and now I'm going into the third year.
And you're blowing it up too. I know between advertisers, between all the top chefs, you've kind of made them household names.
Well, I've tried to. I've tried to. The people, I only bring people on the show that I respect and I like what they do, and whatever meager resources that I might have to help them, I want to use that for them. And I try to make the show interesting. The show's kind of become a little bit of a nuts and bolts kind of show because we get a lot of industry people that listen, bartenders, line cooks, owners, chefs, they listen to the show. So it'll be like, well, just like, well, a few weeks ago you were on. And I said, give me the nuts and bolts of a gigantic buffet. And you told me that, you know, 16, 18-wheelers full of potatoes and all this kind of stuff that you had to deal with for Thanksgiving. You wouldn't believe the number of podcast clicks that show has gotten. Between you and Josh Grabsky talking about the mechanics of getting food out for Thanksgiving, people expecting it to be perfect because it is Thanksgiving. And you feed, what did you have, 600
We did just over 700. It was our single best revenue day since we've opened. So
absolutely
and I owe it all to you, actually.
Thank you very much.
I think we were only at 300 until you aired.
Only at 300. Actually, it was while the show was broadcasting that your
numbers were just
crashed.
going up.
Yeah. I don't know about that. I appreciate the compliment though.
1059 is where they can find you.
1059 Saturdays from 3 to 5.
3 to 5. And as far as the Rehoboth Foodie.
RehobothFoodie.com is the website, and you can also connect with the show podcast there to listen to older shows. I'm not here to bash restaurants, but I have because they deserved it. And it's funny, my hot button more than anything is probably just bad attitude.
Yeah, apathy or bad attitude.
Apathy or bad attitude. I'll put up with almost anything else and give them a chance.
Well, I tell you what, one of the things I'm really excited about is you and I have not done a lot of cooking together.
No, we haven't.
And so all weeks since I talked to you, I've been excited about doing something with you. And I understand you're bringing us, or going to be cooking a family favorite. Is this a mother's hand-me-down recipe? Mother's
hand-me-down recipe. However, and I want to make sure I'm not going to get struck by lightning here, I think I made it better. It's okay, Mom. Settle down. It's okay. I can see her now with her cigarette. Yeah, I'll bet. You know.
Sounds good.
But no, she loved her fried chicken, and I like fried chicken. I actually make it now regularly for charity dinners. I get auctioned off along with an owner of another local restaurant, and we go into people's houses and do a dinner, and I do chicken wings for an appetizer.
Wonderful.
It's fun.
Well, this show could have been an hour long because I could keep going and going, and perhaps we'll bring you back another time.
I'd love it.
But I think we need to get to cooking here.
I'm ready.
Hey, thank you very much for spending a few minutes with us.
Oh man, I'm honored that you wanted me to bring you on your show. I love it.
Absolutely. Well, we'll be back in a few minutes, and we'll get cooking in the kitchen.
State Dance Academy. Sign up now.
Hi, welcome to Miss Billion Fitness. Everything from step mills to treadmills, arc trainers, ellipticals, upright bikes, recumbent bikes, and even a couple of rowers. At Miss Billion Fitness, we have over 23 classes on the schedule every week, from body pump to kickboxing to boot camps, spin classes. We do small group training. We have personal training. We even offer judo jiu-jitsu program. We have a little bit of everything for everybody.
Get homegrown produce packed at the peak of freshness with Pfeiffer's Delmarva Box CSA program. Become a member today at PfeifferOrchards.com. Pick from 9 or 18 weeks of fresh fruits and vegetables. Select from local meats, eggs, and cheeses, and your bountiful box of Delmarva fresh produce will be packed and ready for pickup at a location near you. Pfeiffer's Delmarva Box CSA program is the fresh, fun way to feed your family. Become a member today at PfeifferOrchards.com.
We're back in the kitchen, and I'm going to have you walk us through the process.
That's great.
Okay?
That's great.
So I know you brined the chicken.
I brine this through the magic of television. It's a 3-day chicken process.
What are you brining it in?
I brine it in water and spices, peppercorns, a bay leaf you just have to throw in because it looks cool.
Okay.
And then the next day I drain the brine off, and then I put a mixture of spices on it. This mixture is actually very similar to the mixture that goes into the dredge.
Okay.
And it's funny, I counted this. Yeah, see, he's going to know exactly. You're going to know exactly what's in there by
Salt.
tasting it. So, well, there's salt in there. Remember, this is chicken.
Yeah, nice spice to it, too.
But it's very funny. I hate to say this, but there are, in fact, 11 herbs and spices.
Nice.
And I said, it can't be 11.
Oh, not 11.
I'm just going to lie to him and say 12, you know. But there's actually, the basic ones, of course, are salt, pepper, garlic. Not garlic salt, but garlic powder.
Okay.
And then there's a few other things that are
Mom's
kind of a secret. Yes, and then I added a few other things. I'm looking for that dark cloud. It's going to come get me. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and mix the spices in with the dredge. And dredge being the flour, of course. I have 3 different things in here in terms of the flour. I use about 30% rice flour for this. And I add a little bit of
cornstarch?
Well, I add baking powder. I found that cornstarch really, really likes to burn. See the skin flap on there?
Yeah.
I usually leave that on there because that fries up like a chicharron.
Oh, my word.
And it's like really good.
That's the best part of it.
It really is.
Now, moving over to the other side, your oil. What temperature do you like to have your oil at?
I started out at about 360 or so.
Okay.
Because it's going to drop when I put the chicken in. I take the chicken out about 2 hours beforehand, so it's as close to room temperature as it possibly could be.
Right.
Because if the chicken is cold, the outside's going to burn before the inside cooks.
Done, right.
Like I'm telling
These
you
are
something
little
you
tips.
don't know.
Well, I'm just trying to,
And-
for the
and
people
the-
that are viewing at home, I'm trying to.
Most certainly a tip. Of course, you got to keep your chicken refrigerated. We know that.
Right.
But it's okay to let it sit out for 2 hours. Actually,
Absolutely.
you have 4 hours, as
Sure.
you very well know.
And the other thing, too, is I see that you've done something very smart is with your oil, you have not filled it to the top.
Oh, my goodness,
and
no.
We've had a lot of, around Thanksgiving time, a lot of people.
A lot of houses burn down ceremoniously when someone tries to fry a turkey in the living room.
Right.
You know? And they say,
Near the
well,
Christmas tree.
Near
Or-
the Christmas tree. That's right. That's right. So I'm going to bring these thighs out first and get them dredged nice and kind of move them around a little bit. I have been known to put these in a Tupperware container and just shake it. But I don't think that...
You're talking about the chicken, right?
But the chicken, yeah. Sometimes the people who eat the chicken I have to do that with too later on. Take a chance here.
Okay. Oh, nice. Coated.
Oh, it's working. I can't stand it. Yeah. Oh, that worked nice.
It sure
didn't
did. But I tell you what, one of the companies, when you think of fried chicken, you know, I think of a really nice coleslaw.
Crunchy and spicy.
And a little bit spicy.
Oh,
So
yeah.
one of the things we've been doing is an apple jalapeno coleslaw. And while that's getting ready, why don't we come over here and,
Great.
and knock this out. So,
Wonderful. So what have you, these beautiful apples?
Yeah, as you know, we're sponsored by Pfeiffer's, and you know Pfeiffer's very well.
I know Pfeiffer's very well. Actually, I try very hard whatever I buy to buy from them, because you know it's always going to be good.
That's right.
You know, you don't cut it and you go, oh man, it's not as good as I wanted it to be.
It always exceeds it. It
always
exceeds your
does.
expectations.
So you're taking the skins off
Taking the
because-
skins out. You could use a peeler, but I went to Willie's Knives last week, so my knives are Willie Sharp.
Willie Sharp.
Yeah, they're Willie Sharp.
He's going to like that. Yeah.
If it has a little tiny skin on it, it's not going to hurt anything. I've got a little bit here started ahead of time. Also, I've got a little jalapeno here. What I'm going to do is just kind of press it back like that and just try to get the main part of the seeds out here. Cut it in half.
I am so happy to be doing this with you.
Oh, yeah?
I would have taken a spoon and dug them out, taken 45 minutes to do that. Time I would never get back in my life, and you did it in 4
just
seconds.
in 1 second, right? I'm going to go ahead and just add a little bit of onion to the coleslaw here. And as you see right here, I have a little coleslaw mixture, red cabbage. This is a little celery seed, a little salt and pepper. So in our mixture here, we have, so far, the apples and jalapeno, some fresh cilantro, just gonna kind of roll it up and just kind of rough cut it because we're gonna blend it anyway. So I put a little bit of blended oil, and now I'm gonna put, I guess I put maybe a half to 3/4 of a cup of oil in here. This is cider vinegar. I'm gonna do probably a 1 cup here for that amount. Cider vinegar. I have a little bit of sugar. So,
you know, you didn't have to bring sugar. I have sugar
you
in
have
my
sugar?
house, Kevin.
Well, I'm one of those guests, you know, that just I
Brings
like to
his
bring,
own.
yeah, bring it all. Well, actually, why don't we get some ginger in here too? So
Oh, man.
let's go a little fresh ginger. This is, I'll just take that off. We'll just kind of rough chop it like that. Then, if you would work your magical blender, is it like? Oh, I'm up first try.
You did it. I can't believe it.
So we're gonna let that go here for a minute until we see all of it
Great.
incorporate. It'll get nice and green between the apple and the cilantro.
Oh, I'll bet it
And
does.
it's got such a fresh flavor with the ginger. So we got a nice blend here, and we're just gonna add it over the entire slaw here. I like to do this maybe, I don't know, 20 or 30 minutes ahead of time, just to let it really macerate in there.
Yeah. The freshness, I get the jalapenos. I don't get any of the real spicy bite, but I can definitely taste the greenness of the jalapenos. I think the cilantro's the star of the show.
Yep.
And I was a little worried when I saw how much sugar you put in there.
Right. Well, that'll
Absolutely
when you put
perfect.
it over here, because I put salt on the cabbage earlier, so it's going to leach a little bit.
right.
So it's actually going to dilute a little bit. So that's
you're
why
not going to get all that sugar.
you're not going to get all that sugar.
But this
so.
was not sweet.
No,
by
not
any
terribly.
means.
I think
I
the
mean,
apple. You want the
yeah.
apple to also come through. So.
Man, it was nice.
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to pair with your chicken.
It is going to pair very well with the chicken. Now, I will need about 10 gallons of this delivered to the house tonight.
You got it.
Before midnight. Are you ready to do some
let's
chicken?
do some chicken.
Yeah. It's very important that when you deal with raw chicken, that you don't share the utensils with the finished or cooked chicken. And you also lay it in and drop it away from you.
2 very good tips.
2 very good tips.
You've done this before.
I've done this before.
I feel like we're in this southern kitchen somewhere in
I know.
South Carolina or something.
I know. But I don't have the accent, or at least I don't think I do.
We could fake one for the next show.
Yes. I like to have that skin flat, because as I said, I think it really adds to the beauty of the finished piece in terms of serving it. I leave it alone for the first 5 or 6 minutes. That's when you can knock the coating off of it, and then you've got blotches of uncoated chicken,
Right.
which is not very attractive.
So how long do you think from start to finish here?
These thighs will probably go between 15 and 20 minutes. I always put them on a rack because the last thing you want them to do is soak in the grease. Another thing that I always mention is if you get fried chicken, freshly made to go, do not let them seal it up in a bucket or a box because it will steam in its own steam.
Right.
And this crispiness, feel how hard that is
it
and
turns-
nice.
oh, yeah.
It turns into a sponge.
Yeah.
A nasty little sponge.
Kind of takes away the sexiness.
It takes away the sexiness of it, and I think we're good.
Look at that.
Does that look good?
It looks amazing. So is there a secret name for this?
I just call it buttermilk fried chicken.
Buttermilk fried chicken?
Buttermilk fried chicken, because I don't want to tell everybody what spices are in it.
Okay.
But you notice how the crust puffed up.
Absolutely.
That's the rice flour,
and baking
that's
soda?
the baking soda.
Yep.
And I think it makes it really attractive. And if you don't seal them up,
Right.
it stays crispy, and it even stays crispy when it's cold.
Really?
Another thing to remember with fried chicken is to never ever refrigerate it sealed until it's cool.
I gotcha.
I'll let this sit out till it's room temperature.
Right.
Then I'll put it in the
then you can
refrigerator, because
seal it.
then it'll steam itself.
Right.
Tomorrow you take it out, it's still crunchy.
That's wonderful. Great tip.
You got a little lunch out of it too.
I'm definitely going to eat it. And thank you once again. And stay tuned. We'll be back to tell you about next week's show.
First Date Dance Academy. Sign up now.
A master of farm-to-table cuisine, an award-winning duo of local ingredient brewing join forces to create a culinary experience made from the best that Delaware has to offer. Brickworks Brewing and Eats in Smyrna, Delaware, a made-from-scratch fusion of Delaware's best, like glazed baby back ribs and apple jalapeno slaw, paired with drop trowel, Brickworks exclusive unfiltered IPA. Brickworks Brewing and Eats in Smyrna, Delaware, made from scratch from plate to glass.
Get homegrown produce packed at the peak of freshness with Pfeiffer's Delmarva Box CSA program. Become a member today at PfeifferOrchards.com. Pick from 9 or 18 weeks of fresh fruits and vegetables. Select from local meats, eggs, and cheeses, and your bountiful box of Delmarva fresh produce will be packed and ready for pickup at a location near you. Pfeiffer's Delmarva Box CSA program is the fresh, fun way to feed your family. Become a member today at PfeifferOrchards.com.
Hey, Eric here. Don't miss a thing at Mississippian River Brewing, the world's premier craft brewery located in Milford, Delaware. Stop on by for a sample, or a six-pack, or a growler, or if you just want to stop by and have a pint. Check us out at MississippianRiverBrewing.com.
I'm Chef Kevin Reading of Abbott's Grill, and welcome to Flavor, a show based on interesting people and places of the Chesapeake region. Stay tuned, and hopefully we'll learn something together.